All right, we're live. So,
Let's do this.
but yeah, I'm in the new office and it's good to have, and it's not echoey because there's carpet in here. So,
Yeah, that helps. Mine is
yeah.
a little echoey because it's
Oh, yeah.
vinyl flooring right here.
You need a rug there, and then you could get some of the sound baffling on the walls too.
Yeah, yeah. A rug is probably the best idea because I don't want anything on the wall. Like I don't like any. I want to keep this minimal, so maybe I just spread out the rug while I'm doing my recording and then take it out.
Okay, yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I think you could
Or-
put a permanent rug in there. Like,
I don't. May. I mean,
yep.
okay.
Yeah. You could do like a few different things to like where it would still be minimal and you could absorb a lot of the sound. So,
Yeah,
but
I think right now all I have are like whiteboards, my cabinet, just a small bookshelf, I guess, but that's it. So
yeah,
that's why everything rebound, like the wall, everything reflects sound right now.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I need to get stuff like figured out here with it's getting me a good setup, good background and stuff. But I'm going to kind of design the whole office space to make it so there's kind of a shooting area to shoot, like maybe there'll be a couch or something, or like something, I don't know, or maybe I'll do it under by a desk.
Whiteboard.
Yeah, I definitely would like a whiteboard here for sure. So
Yeah, whiteboards are awesome.
yeah, but I've been being super productive now that I've been, well, you know what I did? I reverted back to my Kanban flow system. And now like it's just an unbeatable, like I'm way more productive doing that. So it's just, yeah, it just works so much better because I can get 10 Pomodoro done in a day and then I'll be done.
What were you trying to do before that?
Well, at one point I had just kind of stopped doing any kind of planning really. I was just working on stuff, and then because I thought I had I had it down, and then at one point I tried using some Sama for a while,
Yeah,
and that
no.
works. The only problem is they're missing the Pomodoro timer, which I talked to the CEO of Simsama, and we might be working out some kind of a partnership. We'll have to work out the deal because I was basically like, look, here's what I was using it. I like it. It's great. It's almost what I need. But I gave him my video of how I plan my week, and I was like, this is what I'm doing in Kanban flows. Like, if you could adapt your system or create a specialized like settings in your system to do my system, we might be able to do a promotion. I said, because there's thousands of people literally that are using my productivity system because I've sold, hundreds and thousands of copies of my book. And all of my membership and whatnot. And so if they had my exact system, we could sell a ton of memberships to Samsama like right away. So I think that's a good kind of win-win partnership there. And then I have the tool that I want because I tried to build the tool, and that was a bit of a mess. So I think that could be a huge win. Some kind of essentially some kind of royalty type of agreement or something like that, where licensing my system that has the value that will bring people in from continually. So
Well, my thoughts on productivity and
yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
Because systems are good, but systems don't. So here's what I figured out. There are three key components of what everyone in the world thinks productivity is about: system, routines and habits to stick to the system, willpower, self-control, discipline, all of that stuff, right? So people think you need a system, you need a routine, and you need willpower, discipline, self-control to be able to do the system. But tell me, how often do you get off your system on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis?
Well, when I'm on
Everyone does. Everyone does. No, not when. It's just a matter of the fact that everyone gets off the system. You can get on it, but you will get off it.
Yeah. Yeah.
People fail systems. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying that's the reality of humanity. Because there's nothing in the system that forces you to do the system. Right? Every system, every book, every app, every course, every journal, every diary, everything out there, it's not designed to force you to do the system. Yeah, it's there, It's an app notification, but you don't have to do it. You can
Right.
swipe left, swipe right. You have the course, but it's sitting there in your archives. You don't have to do it. It's a book. Yeah, you highlighted the book, but you don't have to do it. It's in a journal, but you don't have to damn do the journal, right? So most people get on a system, get off the system, get on the system, get off the system, because there's nothing that forces you to do the damn system.
Right.
So I believe that every system out there is doomed to fail, because you will always get on and get off the system.
Right.
So the only way a system works is if it forces you to do the damn system, what I call live human forcing functions. That means having you forced to do the work, which is why focus blocks exist, which is why Double Your Productivity Live exists, which is why live accountability and Quantum Leap exists, because it's like, I don't believe any automated system can get anywhere close to the productivity levels you get when you go live, when you're around people, when there are people that are forcing you to do the damn thing. Because by yourself, we as humans will fall off our systems.
Yeah, I agree. I think that well, like I said, I mean, we talked about this before too. I think there's only two elements to productivity, right? Like everything comes down to focus and prioritization. Because if you narrow it down to the simplest bare, that's all that it, like if you have, if you have ultimate focus and ultimate prioritization, then you're by definition as productive as you could be, assuming you can stick to it, assuming you actually, right? So that's where that third element comes in, is that the accountability, right?
Yes. Because I thought about what you said, because I thought a lot about what you said, like focus and prioritization, two big components of it. So what I think of it is like three levels of focus, hourly focus, as you call it, right? Three levels of productivity, or three levels of goal acceleration. Hour to hour productivity, which is focus. Daily effectiveness, like planning the day, or what you said, prioritization, right? But as you pointed out, the third level, which is the most important, is follow through, commitment and follow through. Because you can have all the prioritization you want, you can have the best intentions to be focused, but you still don't do it. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying humanity in general. Most people cannot follow through on prioritization and focus.
Right. Well, the question is, anything that you put together to help someone be productive, the problem it solves is how can you make them focus, and how can you give them a way to prioritize properly, right? And so any system that's going to do that has to do those two things. Any kind of, right, if you can optimize the way that people focus and prioritize things, then you have by definition the ultimate productivity. So that's where
you have a system, but the system still doesn't act on you. And that's why there's no follow through and there's no commitment. So that's why every book, every app, every journal, every course, every diary fails. Everyone's read about deep work. All your listeners right now, millions of copies of deep work have been sold, but I bet people's asses that not 1% of people actually do anywhere close to even 2 or 3 hours of deep work any given day.
Well, and here's a great example of what you're saying that just proves your point. CrossFit is the most retarded thing in the world. Sorry for guys that are CrossFitters, but you'll get what I'm saying. But I love it at the same time, and I'll tell you why. It is not the best way to burn calories. It is not the best way to build muscle. It is one of the worst ways to build muscle. It is one of the best ways to get injured. It is just a lot of silly stuff that doesn't actually produce you the actual result in the most optimal way. It's very suboptimal, right? Let's say if there's 100% optimal thing that you're trying to do to build muscle, that it would be like 30%. Okay. But what is the one thing that it does is it creates consistency and commitment, because it's an accountability group activity. It's a cult to a degree, right? And so do people get results doing CrossFit? Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Would they get better results if they did a different routine? No. Why? Because they
won't do it.
If they actually follow through on it. Yeah. So that's why CrossFit, even though it's dumb, I love it, right? It's like, I always tell people, go join CrossFit, because I know if they do that, they're going to get results. So that just is a good proving point of what you're saying, is that it's more about the most important thing, right? We always say in business is execution.
Yeah.
And so the most important thing in productivity is execution. So how do you ensure execution? Because you could be working suboptimally, but as long as you're executing, then you're going to get better results than someone who's working optimally but doesn't execute. So
yeah, this guy just messaged me. He's in one of our groups, and he's like, I've been working all day, but I've been so distracted. I'm like, how many focus blocks did you do today? He's like, 6. I'm like, 6? And you've been distracted? You've been working all day? Let me check. So I look at our system and I see he has done 0 focus blocks. I'm like, of course, you didn't do a live focus block with us, right? You just tried to do it by yourself. He's like, yeah, I was just doing it by myself. I'm like, that's why you're distracted. That's why it doesn't freaking work. You can't implement deep work by yourself. I know that. You won't. You will do it for a day. You will do it for 2 days. You will do it for 3 days, but you will fail at it.
Right.
You will not implement Think and Grow Rich every single day. You know the concepts of Think and Grow Rich, but you're not going to go do it every single day. That's why I designed Double Your Productivity in 19 minutes a day, because now we actually go and implement the damn thing. We actually implement the principles of Think and Grow Rich live every single day. So books, I have plenty, like I'm the biggest reader, right? I've read everything that is there to be read on productivity and self-development, only to realize that no matter how much knowledge I have, it ultimately comes down to execution. And the biggest failure I had every single time was that I couldn't follow through on all of the great ideas in the books, because it was hard to do it by myself. Very hard to do it by yourself. It's just the human condition that, and this is kind of what I also figured out. Like, the human condition is that every time, life changes and your feelings go up and down, as soon as that happens, suddenly you don't have the same discipline and motivation and structure and routine. So you stop doing the things you thought you should be doing. And as a result of that, now you're failing at things. And now you have even less self-control, even less motivation, even less willpower. So it's like a vicious cycle that starts to keep on going, because you're like, yeah, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, maybe it's day after, maybe. And you're wasting days as a result of that inconsistency in your days, because there's nothing that holds you to that damn thing.
Right. Yeah. You need a forcing function. You have to.
You need and not just a forcing function that's like what an app will give you, because an app's forcing function is a notification. It's not a real forcing function. What I call, you need live human forcing functions.
Right.
Live humans who are live with you in that time.
Right.
That's when you step up. That's when you play much bigger, because otherwise it's so easy to play small by yourself. And if you think about it, every high performance endeavor in human paradigm involves live human forcing function.
Right.
Sports, every single time.
Yeah.
The only reason why athletes perform so well, because there is not only a forcing function, but it's live human forcing function. There are people watching, there are fans, there are coaches, there are opponents. All of these are live human forcing. That's the pinnacle of high performance.
Yeah, it is. That's true. Yeah.
Right. Pinnacle of high performance is sports, live human forcing function. Same with CEOs, high performance CEOs. They're not smarter than you and I. I know that for sure. Right. But what is different with them is that they are in a situation where there are other people that are expecting them to deliver at a much higher level.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They are in those situations. There are live human forcing functions involved. Think of another case, right? Military.
Right.
In military, people are so disciplined and so on point. Like, there's so much, like, you think, oh man, these military cadets, they're so good. They're so disciplined and they're so motivated and all of those things. But what happens as soon as they get out of there?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
They're lost.
Right. Because they don't have a choice. You know what I mean? You take away the choice. And that's kind of also, what I try to do by eliminating judgment calls as well, just in your own life. Like, the more that you make things that you don't have a choice. That's why, like, 1 meal a day works so effectively, is even though there's not, it is not as strong as a live human forcing function, but it is a rule that eliminates judgment, and therefore it makes it is more likely for you to be consistent. So, but yeah, no, that's absolutely true though.
In military, what happens is there's structure, there's the sergeant, and there's like your teammates and all of that stuff. So there's that live human forcing function you just cannot get away from.
Right.
But you get out in the real world, there's nobody to ask you to wake up at 6:30 a.m. There's nobody to ask you to go run. There's nobody to ask you to do anything. And before you know it, all these cadets who are super disciplined while they were in the military are suddenly finding themselves jobless and on the streets, and all of that things happen, right?
Yeah.
Because they've lost all of that live human forcing function. So our job, in many ways, whatever area of endeavor we're in, we need to find these live human forcing functions to step up our game in that area. Because it's the easiest hack, if you think about it. You can try and use your willpower and discipline, but it's so much easier to just use live human forcing function. Not actually, let me reframe that. You can try using your willpower, motivation, and discipline, but you will fail at it.
Right.
Yeah. Everyone fails at it. Everyone falls off the systems. Everyone falls off their routines. Yeah. But when there's a live human forcing function, you just don't have any options left. So you just show up and do the work.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's true.
So even, we started it.
Well, you know how Kenyan runners train for marathons, right? Like they produce the best marathon runners. Is the people that are training, they just go and run with the elite marathon runners. So, and they can't catch up, but they catch up, but they try to stay with them as long as they can. And then they eventually, but that's what they do. They literally just go right in. And that, again, that's a live human forcing function. That's why they produce such good runners, is because like all the training methods that you have, the best thing to do is just to be there and to be forced to like do something that's beyond your capability. So
forced to show up, forced to do the work. That's the best thing you can do. And if you think of, like, I can't think of a single human endeavor where people perform at their highest level without a live human forcing function.
Yeah, there was a guy, I remember it was like 10 years ago. I remember reading this article about this guy. He hired someone on Craigslist to sit next to him at the coffee shop when he was working. And every time that he looked away from the monitor, wasn't working on his work, they were supposed to smack him in the head. And,
you want me to share that video with you? Let me share it with you.
Yeah. But you should use that in your marketing for sure.
I do. I mean, funny you said that. I actually use that. Let me share with you from the webinar from yesterday.
Oh, you put literally that in the webinar, that video? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah. No, that's
literally the video is there, and it's like so freaking. Yeah. Let me see. I could find it. Okay. Here. Let me see. I'll share my screen here real quick. If I can. I can.
You should be able to. Let me see.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is the guy, Manish Sethi, you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So he was not able to focus as we're talking about. So he hired this woman on Craigslist for $8 an hour in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And her job was to just slap him every time he got distracted. If he was looking at Facebook, whatever. And for those of you who don't believe it, there's a CNN article, literally. He is hiring a woman to slap him. So here's the video.
Oh, yeah, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. That must be Ramit's brother.
Yeah. So there we go. He got smacked right there. And then Elon Musk found this 10 years later. And this guy, literally, he's like, his productivity went from 34% to 98% as a result of that. Because when you have that intense a live human forcing function, you will not fuck around, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is Elon Musk retweeting that shit.
Yeah.
Back in November last year.
Yeah.
He's like, if you guys don't come to work at Tesla and don't show up, this is what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to sit next to you and I'm going to smack your asses.
Yeah. That's true. That's what you need, so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. It's true. Like, there's very humanness to all of us. And to forget that we're human and try to not be human is just a wasted. It's like, we have so many things to do in life. Why waste our effort? Why waste our willpower and motivation or discipline on the most basic things?
Right. Exactly.
Why not use it on the more important things? Right. Why use all of our motivation and discipline and willpower to just get focused work done? Why not use it on other bigger decisions in life? Because willpower, motivation, discipline, all of these things come from the same tank of intellectual capacity, quote unquote, your decision-making skill.
So decision-making. Okay. I was gonna say, check this out. You just saw, you've heard about the problem I'm sure you're familiar certainly with the problem where because of the pandemic, workers have been working from home and businesses have been saying, no, we need to get people back in because it reduces the productivity and, so what you could really do. See, I think you should sell this to at the corporate level, right? Because you have the solution to their problem, because you can say, hey, look, you're right. If people are working from home, they're going to get distracted. They're going to watch TV. They're going to be watching their kids. They're going to be, doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. and they can't help it. There's nothing they can do to help it. Doesn't matter how good a worker they are. Maybe 1% of your workers can handle this, but 90% of them will not be able to handle this. So here's the solution. Live, they don't want you monitoring them. If you're like, oh, you have to be online, they're going to get pissed off, like whatever. But if you give them this thing and tell them and incentivize them to use focus blocks, they have accountability, and you'll be sure that they're working, and you have video recording of them working. You know what I mean?
Well, nobody wants to be video recorded, so we're not going to offer that.
You could like, whatever, that doesn't, but that they're on the focus block, like the accountability works, right? But I think you can sell that at a corporate level, and that could be, you could do some enterprise sales there.
I've been trying with different smaller businesses, just like my friends who have these kinds of businesses, like 30, 40, 50 people team. They're like, man, I don't want to be the big brother. I don't want to make them feel like we're watching them. Exactly. No, so that's why they don't want to roll this out to their company, because they're like, I don't want them to feel like I'm watching them.
You just have to overcome that objection, because that's the whole thing. That when they say that, you got to say, that's exactly why I created this, is so you don't have to be the big brother. I'm making it a thing for them to have fun and enjoy doing this, where you're not watching them. We're the ones who are creating the service. It's not you. And you can just incentivize them with the focus blocks, give them some kind of reward, have a leaderboard of who's done the most focus blocks, right? And give them some kind of a prize, so that, because that if they're in front of people on their camera, that it's absolutely going to increase their productivity. So. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
turn it around.
That's just an objection. Yeah,
because that objection is actually the thing that you're solving. You're literally solving that problem, so they don't have to be the big brother. Because how else are they solving this problem? They're making them install monitoring software on their computer, time tracking, whatever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of solutions, but those are all intrusive big brother solutions.
They don't really, just because your time is being tracked doesn't mean you're actually doing focused work. You're just dilly-dallying. You don't have really a commitment contract to yourself or anything like that.
Exactly. So,
yeah. Another thing we launched with Quantum Leap, the Quantum Leap challenge. It's a monthly challenge, and people have to. So the way it works is people submit. People have to put a wager on their goal.
Right.
And anyone and everyone who's in Quantum Leap can join. So once you put a wager on your goal, now the way it works is, and you have to put a stretch goal, something you haven't achieved in the past, that's going to push you, that's going to force you to figure it out. And once you put the wager, at the end of the month, we'll verify whether you achieved it or not.
Okay.
And if you do not, you lose the money. You lose all of your money. But all the money goes to the winners.
Right.
So there's a part, people who let's say 10 people put the money in, 5 people win, 5 people don't. Now the 5 people who lost, they lost their money, but the 5 people who won, they will get back their own money and the money of the losers in the ratio in which they put in their money.
Right.
So basically we don't make any money as Quantum Leap, like guides and coaches. It's 2,000 books. I don't make a single penny from this.
Right.
But it forces them to step up.
Exactly. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So people are putting I was initially like, oh yeah, you could put $100, but then I was like, no, minimum $500 for one goal.
Shit. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Right. So now it's serious. Yeah. Now I'm like, have you achieved this stuff before? If you have, then it's not a goal that I want you to put out there.
Right.
$500 for a goal you haven't achieved yet. Now it's going to be fun. So people are putting in people are literally shaking hands. He's like, dude, I'm scared. I'm like, okay, well then don't do it.
Yeah.
But if you are serious, here's what happened, right? People were saying goals. People were doing their monthly planning.
Yeah.
And they had their goals on the spreadsheet. And I'm like, when I got on the call, I was like, okay, so you're serious about that goal, right?
Right.
Make it happen. He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and put a wager on it for $500 minimum. And the guy's like, okay, let me think about it. So
Yeah.
now he's backtracking on that goal because
Yeah.
it's getting serious now.
Well, and see, this is a great thing as well. And this is like with my productivity system, the reason why it works with the Pomodoros and plan things out as well is the same thing that you're doing here, which is one of the biggest problems that people have with being productive is that they make goals that are too big and not well thought out, right?
Yeah,
but if you
not well thought out.
So it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to create this web page this week or whatever, create my new website. But if you put $500 on it, now you have to think about this and say, wait a minute, is this too big? Like, what can I accomplish? What can I actually do? And you have to break it down and say, okay, let me think about the steps involved in this and break this down to smaller tasks. Okay, how can I execute on this? How much time is this actually going to take me, right? It's forcing you to do the correct planning and prioritizations for something so that you can actually get it done. So that's beautiful.
Yeah. So this is going to be fun for people who are like, okay, I'm just going to set runnable, no more. You have to set a very precise goal, very precise outcome. And that's going to push you. And now you're in business, my man. Now it's going to be like, you're going to do intense work to make it happen way better. And it's not like you have to work harder, but you're dedicated to the cause now.
Yeah.
There's a guy who literally put in $1,000 and he's like, dude, I've never been at 13% body fat. I'm at 17 right now, but that's what I'm committing to. And he's going to put a DEXA scan. Like he's going to,
how long does he have to do that?
He has, I think he has 30 days.
30 days? He's better not eat.
Well, that's what I told him, dude. When he told me all of that, I'm like, dude, get real, go do your DEXA scan today.
Yeah.
And then knowing your past progress, push yourself, but don't go crazy. Yeah. So find your balance. But yeah, hit a number that you've never hit before. That's what's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's better if he says, if he's at 17 to go to 15 and wager 1,000. And then do another 1,000 wager from 15 to 13, then to try to do 17. But he'll learn and he'll lose $1,000, and then it'll be worth $1,000 to learn that lesson. So
either way, he's gonna win. Either way, he wins. Yeah. Either he wins the money or he wins a huge lesson that he'll remember to go, to figure out. But it's gonna be a lesson that he'll remember for a long time because it's money, right? Money and emotions. Now the importance of the lessons and the importance of learning goes up dramatically.
Yeah, no, this is good. I like this. This is good. Yeah. Yeah.
So really like the live human forcing function, we're not like taking it as a joke. Like we're constantly like, dialing up the forcing function, the live human forcing function element of it to get people to take higher and higher level action.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
Yeah. How's it going with you? How are your promotions going?
Not as good as what I was hoping. I couldn't work much last week because of the whole thing, but I've been solidly working as much as I could this week. And I did a promotion. So what I did was I did a 50% off platinum membership. Just trying to kind of raise some funds. I'm trying to make a goal of every month, like doing something to raise some extra cash. Kind of my goal is like, just in my mind is pay off my mortgage payment every month through like as extra cash. Obviously the business is making, but let's do that for, as an incentive just to get me more motivated. And so this one I did the platinum membership at 50% off. I wrote 3 emails and I was just going to send to the Bulldog Mindset list, but I decided to send it to the Simple Programmer list because, why not? Right. And I got like, not a lot of sales. I think I got like a Simple Programmer list, a total of 7 sales, maybe 6. So it's not bad. It's still a few grand of income there. And then I did to the Bulldog Mindset list. The second email went out today, and I've only seen like a couple of sales so far. There's one more email going out tomorrow. So I don't know. I think that offer is just a little exhausted, even with a 50% off because I think that's a really good deal on the platinum. But the other thing I did was I opened up some more slots in the beta, right, for them. And I had sent out some emails to the Bulldog Mindset list. I sent to the wait list first and then the Bulldog Mindset list. And I think out of those, I ended up getting like 3 or 4 people signing up. But I learned a couple of things from it. Well, I have a YouTube video coming out too that will kind of, the biggest thing I learned from it is that the issue, like what I did last time, what I stumbled into that was actually really great was a very high touch and screened process, right? Because last time I just made a video on YouTube just spontaneously, and I said, email me the words "well that never runs dry," or I want to dig a well. And then from there, I sent another email personally, which people can tell it's a personal email from me that said, and I had a copy and paste, but I said that's like, this is the next step to watch this video. And then from that video, it had an application in the description. They had to click that application and fill out the application. Okay. And that pre-qualified them. And then they had to set up a call. But even before they set up the call, they bought, right? And 50 people bought. So because they jumped through all those hoops, and it increased the value, the perception of value in their minds of it. And that was the key. And it also built on little commitments at a time, right? So
yeah.
So when I'll probably do another promotion again in another month and open up 10 more slots, but it's going to work just like that. It's going to be that same exact system again. Now, yeah, I'm going to do the webinar and stuff like that, but as I'm sending to my list, I'm testing out, you know what I'm saying? Because this is, you know, if I can't sell it to my list, I can't sell it to cold audience. So I'm kind of setting up that kind of process. But so it's not bad. Like I said, I've got some people in on it. I did one phone call and closed a guy. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was doing with that. And
so I have some insights for you from some people who talked to me about your program. I can't name names.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a public forum here.
Yeah.
And the person asked me, or not asked me, they were telling me that, hey, you know, and this is something that you and I have been talking about, and I've been on, you know, I've been kind of saying that, you know, we need to, anyways, so you'll see from this discussion why I think my suspicion is kind of getting proven right now.
Okay.
What he said was, you know, I'm thinking of about John's program, this Well That Never Runs Dry, versus another real estate investing program.
Right.
What do you think? And because there's another guy who we know mutually, right? And he's like, would you vouch for that person, the other guy? I'm like, or not vouch, but what do you think? Do you think it's legit, reasonable, blah, blah, blah? I'm like, I don't know. I can't vouch for that other guy. Right. You make your decision. And he's like, well, yeah, but the thing with John stuff is like, there's so many other things. There's like the, you know, the business stuff and this and that. And I don't really need all of that other stuff.
Right.
So it doesn't feel like it's for me. I just want to focus on the real estate stuff. And he said, like, it's got like this, you know, the bulldog mindset and the dating stuff and this and that. And that's when it, like, the thing that I've been, you know, we've been talking about, which is like, unless the business has that focus, you are potentially losing the best clients because they are confused as to what you're really selling.
Right.
Right.
Right. And
it's
so,
a very telling kind of, because it was a private conversation with me, but in that moment I realized because there's so many things you teach, people are not willing to put down top dollar for the thing that you just launched.
Right.
And which is supposed to help them.
Right.
But they don't believe.
Yeah, the key messaging that was successful with the initial launch of the beta was that this is a financial freedom program teaching you step by step how to reach financial freedom, right? The vehicle used to get that is business and real estate, but ultimately that's unique offering is people can teach you real estate, people can teach you how to build a business. That's fine. There's a lot of good teachers out there, but what I can do is tie it all together and give you an actual plan that you can follow that's going to actually get you to where your financial goal is, to have financial freedom and to figure out what that number is and put that all into one proven system that works, because I've coached so many guys, helped them build businesses, helped them buy properties, and combined all these things together in a way that other people haven't done. Right. That's really the biggest.
But the thing, like if you look at the sales page, it's got a lot of different things, and that's what like confusing to an audience, right?
It's a beta sales page because it was just thrown up overnight from my copywriter. But when I rebuild that sales page, it's going to be a lot more
And
focused on the financial freedom.
I think the overall kind of message that I took away from it was that he was confused about your messaging because you teach other things.
Right.
And he felt like because you teach so many things, it wasn't the perfect thing for him.
Yeah, the key thing, I think, what I've been thinking about with all this is that it's fine to have some of those other things out there, but they need to be totally separate channels that bring people in from, and the messaging has to be consistent with the channel that the person came in from.
They have to.
You can cross sell them into something else if you want to, right?
They have to be separate businesses at this point.
Yeah, you could make them separate businesses, and then you could cross sell across your businesses, right?
Yes,
things like that. But yeah, that's the thing. But that's why my focus is moving back towards, and I've been seeing a huge uptick in YouTube videos as I've been moving more towards the financial mindset stuff, the stuff that really people are saying, well, only John can teach this thing. Like this is the thing that so that's what. But
I'm like, remember that conversation we had at the restaurant, and you were thinking of teaching people how to do like get a 6-figure job. And I was like, no, don't do that because it's diluting your audience. It's like, you have to, like, you're almost like cutting down.
Right.
And by cutting down, you're getting you're making more money. And then when you again cut down, you get even more money because now it's even more of a select offer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. The select offer is what causes a lot of people to sign up with what you have to say compared to other people's offers. Right. So I think when all of this is said and done, or when like once you have that like time to kind of lay it all out, at some point you will need a separate brand for that.
Yeah, I think that will. Yeah, I agree. I think that will,
because otherwise it's confusing the audience.
Right.
And when they're confused, they don't buy.
Yeah. I think what will end up happening, like I've been thinking about this a little bit, is that what will probably end up happening is that the Well That Never Runs Dry, like you said, will become sort of a separate brand around financial independence. And then I'll start talking completely about financial independence with that. And that will be the entire goal. And then Bulldog Mindset will still exist, but it will be a feeder that will eventually people will cross sell into that. Because when I get people into Bulldog Mindset membership, now I have an audience that has already bought from me. Now I can say, hey, look, by the way, like the most important thing, like this is great. You know, you're in here, you're learning some stuff about dating, you're learning some stuff about fitness and discipline and mindset and stuff like that. But ultimately, like what you need to do is to have a financial freedom plan. I have this other business, you know, this is what we can do for you. You know, this is the path to get. And so that becomes more of like a training ground of getting people more successful in life so that they can afford and have the discipline to achieve the financial freedom. So I think that's what ends up becoming the long-term thing. And Simple Programmer also becomes a feeder for it, right? Because now that's a different kind of person. These are programmers that are successful. They're thinking, let's get better at my career and make money doing that. But then I'm going to say, hold on, guys, wait a minute. That's great. And it's good that you're making a lot of money, but now you need to be able to invest that money and be able to build financial freedom. Because why are you working this job, right? And do you want to work this job forever? So
I agree.
That's the thing, is like having consistent messaging.
I mean, the thing, yeah. And so there are two levels to this equation as we're talking. One is the business level of it, like 3 separate entities or 3 separate brands: Simple Programmer, Bulldog Mindset, and the Well That Never Runs Dry, or whatever you call it at some point. So there are 3 separate entities. The question will then become, which is basically something I am also struggling with every single day now, is at what point do I say that I give all of my energy to this one brand so that I could scale that one? It's almost like the pumpkin plan, right? I have to kill other pumpkins to make one pumpkin really go.
And the thing is, what I've been thinking about that is that it's a lot of the stuff is on autopilot now, right? I can just focus on the main thing. So it's like, yeah, I could kill off stuff and that's potential, but it's better in regards to put on autopilot where it takes maybe 3 or 4 hours a week to keep those feeders in place until it doesn't make sense anymore. There may be some point where,
well, as long as you make the pact with yourself that those feeders are in alignment with the feeders only work to sell this, because
Right.
if the feeders are doing like their own thing and they're selling their own products and their own services, then you're still kind of doing different things at that point, right? Three
I
different arenas you're playing with.
I think you can still have, again, remember 80/20 power curve, right? You're not just selling one. I mean, ultimately, like you're selling one thing, one main focus, but there's still a lot of other price points along the way, and also working people up. Also, .com secrets, looking at, the value ladder, right? So I think both of those things are
So
important.
I have a like lately now that I've been playing with this, or the
Yeah.
more I actually do not believe in the ascension model. I believe ascension model is broken. I believe in descension model now.
Well, starting with the highest ticket thing and then bringing them down.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that works.
I
but-
literally I just said it, like I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Ascension model is broken. Ascension model only works when you have very deep pockets to sustain something or very large audiences
Right.
to sell low ticket, or very deep pockets to sustain a low ticket product. It's not for anyone who's trying to grow a business super fast with cash flow. No.
Yeah,
Actually, descension is the way to go. Descension is the only way to build fast growth, cash flow positive business. Because I've done the ascension thing and it sucks.
yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that. That's true. So
Way too many, I get coaching clients all the time who are like trying to sell 20, 30, $40 membership. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
don't do it. I've done it. I've bared the burden of that craziness. Do not even try to do that shit. That's a
Yeah.
bad idea. It's gonna burn you. You're gonna
Well,
you wear you out. It's gonna wear you out. Just
Yeah.
go and sell a $2,000 package or $1,000 package or whatever, and try to improve on the value on that. And literally every one of my clients who has done that, they've made so much more money than trying to go the low ticket route.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The minimum my coaching clients are allowed to charge for things now is like $500. So
Yeah, and even 500 is like I am at a point where it's like no more. Should I even allow that? Like I'm rolling out a new system process where it just has to be like thousands of dollars minimum for me to even enroll people anymore.
Yeah.
Because ascension model is broken. It's not the right thing for 99% of entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
If you can start with descension, you start with the highest ticket service that you have to offer, or product you have to offer, and you just help one person and you get them to pay 5,000. It's so much more than selling $50 price point to 100 people. So much easier.
I agree 100%. I think the one thing that is missing from that model, the way you're modeling it though, is sort of this incubator, right? Because a lot of my other content and products and things have served as incubators to the higher ticket thing, right? It's a long-term play, right? You get people that are using some stuff that's valuable, that's not so expensive. They get success in their life. Most people are going to get success in their life at some point. If they're motivated people, they're going to make more money, over 4 or 5 years. Then they finally get to a point where they're ready for your bigger product, and then they're really easy to sell into that because they trust you.
Well, do you really want to incubate people for 4 years, 5 years in your content, rather than make $5,000 and put it back into actually creating another client through whatever means?
But there's no reason why you
etc.
can't. Well, I agree. But there's no reason why you can't do both, right? Some of your stuff is going to.
Yes, you can, but it's going to wear you out.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if you can create a business model that's gonna work, where you can do paid advertising and acquire customers.
Well, you don't necessarily have to start with paid advertising, but anyone who's out there today who's thinking about it, they could start with a high ticket offer on their Facebook page, on their Instagram, on their LinkedIn, reaching out to people, connecting with them, and making an offer that actually works. Getting on a call. It's not going to be done on a phone, like on a Facebook post. You're going to get on a call with someone. If you have a skill, if you have something that you know is good, you get on Facebook, you can reach out to people, connect with them, and see if you can help them. And even if you get one client, and you don't charge them 5,000, but you only charge them 1,000 or 500. So
here's
that,
the problem,
you know,
what you're saying theoretically works, but and I don't disagree with it. Like that's the optimal thing, but it's kind of coming back to the conversation we said about productivity, and you need that forcing function of live accountability, right? So it's a similar type of thing in the sense that theoretically, like a system would work, right? But theoretically, what you're saying is the best way to capture value. Yet the coaching clients that I work with, a lot of them, it's scary for them to sell something that's a $50 price. So we have to still start them at a lower place. They cannot get on the phone and sell someone $1,000 or $2,000 product, because the number one thing in sales, right, is belief in your product. So you have to create some kind of belief, some kind of, there are some stepping stones depending on where you are as an entrepreneur. Yes, if you launch a business tomorrow, a brand new business, and you had a $2,000 price point offer, even if it was a completely different business model, a completely different subject matter, could you get on the phone and sell people? Yeah, because you have experience, that people will pay you, you've done this before, right? If you take a noob and you try to get them to do that, they're going to need to have to build some kind of confidence first in order to be able to now do the optimal thing. I think there's a faster way than building out a low $50 offer and then climbing up. I think that you have to build. That's why I say, like, usually I'm getting people to do a $500 price point on some kind of digital product, and then let's throw in the bigger offers.
Well, so the difference, so the reason why I say, and I know what you're saying here, is like some people may not have the confidence to sell their product at the high price points, and maybe nobody does. But that's why I said you have a higher price point. But what you do, and when you get the first few clients, you let them know this is where I'll sell it, but because you are my beta customer,
right,
I will give it to you at at $500 instead of $5,000. But I want to make sure I get you the results, and the result is captured for me as well, so that we have a testimonial. So now that gives me confidence, right? You do it for one person, you do it for two, you do it for three, you do it for four. Now you have four people. So you say, okay, no more 500. Now I'm going to charge 1,000 because I got results for four people. And then you get to 2,000 and so on and so forth. So yeah, initially you don't charge money because you don't know how if you will get results. But that's why you could take beta clients just to get results. And as soon as you get results, you're like, all right, we're on the way. And we can do this on a much larger, like on a much higher price point.
Right.
So that's the kind of hack to move that value curve quickly for your customers and for yourself.
I agree. I think that can work doing it that way for sure. Yeah. If you can heavily discount it, offer it free, right? That's another way to get into it.
Free people don't do work. So yeah, I know what you're saying, but
yeah,
people don't take action when they're given stuff.
Some kind of a discounted price. You get the feedback, you get the confidence that you can sell this thing. You up the price for sure. Yeah.
You up the price, you up the price, you up the price. And now you sell a much better, higher ticket program. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm going towards more and more. Like the webinar was a stepping stone in that direction for me. But I feel like from webinar, now it's going to be like more of straight up only phone closes for a while.
Yeah.
To sell a higher ticket version of what was sold on the webinar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once I figured that out, then hiring closers to close that rather than me doing that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Once you can get the sales yourself, then there you go. Then you just pass the leads on and that's it. Then it's.
So as I was talking to you about the guy who was telling me about like why he didn't think your program was right for him, I also realized the same situation I find myself in with Quantum Leap, because I allow, who is this for? I said freelancers, entrepreneurs, self-employed people. And then the fourth line is anyone who's ambitious and wants to, have big dreams. That fourth line is useless because that's where we get the worst customers.
It diluted
because they're not entrepreneurs, they don't have a business. And when you don't have a business, you're not in control. So you can't move the dial enough to make big results happen. So there are two things that I'm going to start doing now is like make sure that only a certain level income people come in.
Right.
Entrepreneurs who have a certain level, like 6-figure entrepreneurs, because they have so much room to grow.
Right.
and so much room to like literally double their results in a matter of a very short period of time because they've figured out a lot of things. But if you get like starving entrepreneurs, not a good idea.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
And if you get people in jobs, they don't feel like they can move the dial enough for themselves. So unless they have other endeavors they're trying to pursue while in the job, it just doesn't work. So they must have other endeavors and be able to pay. So yeah, I'm like narrowing the audience because the wide audience is not good for us.
Right. And then it also allows you to focus directly on their pain points, right? Because now you can say exactly what their issues are. And so you're going to have a higher conversion rate as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. My coaches keep telling me that, dude, we're charging a little. We need to charge more just to get people, get even higher quality people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that's the next thing. So I'm going to stop selling monthly and go into quarterly / 6 months / annual, or maybe 6 months / annual only.
Right.
So then we get only the best, most committed people.
Right.
And we're going to raise the price from like probably 6 months for $3,000 package or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I know. I wish I was doing high ticket from the beginning.
You're right. That's what, I mean, seriously, I mean, the whole Ascension model is a bill of rights, or what do you call it? We were sold the dream that was a bad dream because scaling a low ticket, man, the pain of scaling a low ticket is like, you and I have tried to do that shit. It's just a never ending marathon. Yeah. It's not a sprint of any kind.
No, you just get stuck is the problem.
The scalability issues are so difficult on low ticket. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
To make $50,000, let's take $10,000.
Yeah.
If you're selling a $50 product, you're going to sell 200 people on a $50 product on a sales page. It better convert like ridiculous to sell 200. So to get 200 people to buy, you will probably have to send 60,000 people to that sales page, 6,000 people to that sales page to literally get 200 people to buy.
Well, and here's something that I was
4%
too, is like, if someone if they have the money to spend $2,000 on something, then spending $4,000 on something is not that much of a difference. But someone who spends 50, 100 is a huge difference, right?
Yes.
Because it's sort of like when you have that, so there's a certain level of threshold where it doesn't matter as much, but it makes a huge difference in your margins, right? So it's like if you took a product from $50 to $100 price point, you would half the conversion rate, right? But if you took a product from a $2,000 to $4,000 price point, you would maybe 25% reduce the conversion rate, right? So you're making it's a better way to go about things. And when you get into the really big price points, that's why like some of these guys that do like the mastermind, the yearly, like where it's like a $30,000 or $50,000 price point. Or in fact, there's a guy in my Bulldog Mindset membership who is in Tony Robbins' plan this year. It's $120,000 a year, I think, right? This platinum membership or diamond, whatever.
Platinum. Yeah.
And so it's like when you get up into some of those levels, that like the person, if someone is going to pay $120,000, if they would pay, that same person would pay $80,000, they'd pay $120,000, right? Like it's not good. Sure, you're going to lose some.
It's very fungible.
But most people that would be willing to pay 80, if they saw the value, they'd also be willing to pay 120, right? So it's like there's a huge amount of value discrepancy there just by reaching up into that higher echelon of people, which doesn't reduce the conversion, which makes it so that you can afford to spend more money delivering the product, creating a better experience, getting better leads, all of those things. So yeah, I think that there's some real truth to that.
Yeah. Especially what happens is a higher ticket product that's sold in the right setting and the right value has been created in the mind of the buyer.
Exactly.
That itself elevates the value of the product and elevates the results for the customer.
Yeah.
Right. Same product can be sold in a low ticket environment for low price point, and the customer doesn't get results.
Yeah.
And the price product, if you sell in a high sales and like a phone sales, and you qualify them and you get to know them, and then you sell them, they're much more likely to take action.
Yeah.
And they're much more likely to get results.
Oh, check this out. I've almost forgot to mention this. So here's a great offer. Okay, so I'm working with this company called, I just had a call with them today. I'm going to sign up with them. They're called Gravy. They're kind of like,
oh yeah, I know Gravy.
Yeah, they're competitor to Churn. I'm using Churnbuster right now, right? Churnbuster is great, but it's automated. It's not a personalized service. It's basically failed payment recapture, right? And my Churnbuster captures about 50% of my failed payment. So that was a no-brainer. I mean, it's $100 a month. It earns me over $1,000 a month. So very, very clear win. But Gravy, what they started implementing now, they have a new offer. It sounds like a Alex Hormozi offer, but it's basically what they're doing now is not just failed payment recovery, like manually, like people reaching out, direct reaching out, not an automated system, but also canceled accounts, right? So just manual cancel and upsells and downsells. So
wow.
I talked to him today and I was like, look, I offer people a lot of times if they cancel Bulldog Mindset membership, a lifetime membership at a discount, right? And I get a lot of people that uptake on that. They're like, oh yeah, we can sell that for you. So check this out. So now I'm going to have them take over my entire failed payments, and anyone who cancels, they're going to contact them personally. And then they'll try to get them to, the first thing they should probably do is try to upsell them to a platinum membership at a discount, lifetime, capture that value, or they'll get them to retry payment, or they'll do, or downsell them if they can, right? To just capture as much money as possible on people that are canceling or failing out. So, and then the way that they do this is they charge me, they figure out, what my current rate is of failed payment recapture. And then they know from their data what they can increase that by. And so they figure out what that difference is, right? And then how much money that is worth to me, okay? And then they say, look, you pay us this money upfront, like half of the fee for the year, right? Which is a big number for sure. But
how much is that?
What's that?
How much is that?
I don't want to spell. I don't want to say their
okay.
rate.
Can you put it in the chat so I know?
Yeah. Okay. Let me put it.
So I know perspective here, what they're looking for.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to pay 50% of this for the whole year upfront?
Yeah. Yeah. Now here's the thing, and they have a couple of guarantees. So one of them is that in the first 6 months, if they don't reach that, and I'm signing for a year commitment, right? In the first 6 months, if they don't reach that number and recover me more than what their fee is extra than what my baseline is, then we can cancel the contract and they'll pay me whatever the difference is. So they'll refund me so I lose no money. And then the same thing for the year. At the end of the year, if they don't reach that recovery rate and they don't get me at least what I'm paying them in extra per month, then they refund me all that, or they make up whatever the difference is, right? They pay me whatever the difference is. But that doesn't include, that's only on fail payments. So that doesn't include the upsell.
So the downside is basically theirs, upside is all yours.
The down, yeah, basically, yeah. So the only thing that they capture is a $500 enrollment fee. That is non-refundable. So
okay,
essentially the only risk I have is $500.
They must have a minimum amount of your MRR for them to indulge in this, right?
Yeah, well, they have the numbers. They have been doing this for a long time, so they know based on your recovery rate and what your MRR is, how much they can recover extra for you. So they know they can guarantee based on their.
So what's the minimum MRR they need for you to engage with them?
I don't know what it is. I think it's probably around $3,000 a month, I would guess, in failed payments. In failed payments only.
Oh, total failed payments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which means that you probably need to have like around 25
of them
to 30, K MRR. So
yeah.
So it's not for small stuff. Churnbuster is better for small stuff. But in this case, all the upside is them upselling canceled accounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is just pure, and they're giving me feedback from people, right? Because they're talking to them, they're interviewing them, they're getting feedback. So this is like, it's like an insane, it's like I was telling the sales rep, I was like, this is one of those deals that you'd have to be an idiot to say no to, right? Like you're literally saying you're going to guarantee me that I'll at least break even, but I'm going to get free customer service. Like, what can
Once you say that, you're telling me that I would have to be an idiot to say no to this deal. Now you're in a bind. Now you can't say no to the deal.
Well, there's no way I'm going to say no to the deal. I agree. I was like, this is a beautiful implementation because they changed their business model. Because I talked to them last year and it wasn't like this. And it was just like, there was no, but it was like, and I was like, yeah, no way, I'm not doing this. And I went up with Churnbuster. But then when they presented this, I was like, yeah, that just shows you the offer is key. By making this offer, yeah, there's no way that, how am I going to turn this down? It would be dumb to turn this down, right? Like I'd be an idiot to turn this down because it's just free money for me, right? And they
good offer is like life changing.
Yeah.
So going back to the three fundamentals of marketing, right? List, offer, and copy.
Right.
A list is the most important part, but it comes through in your offer positioning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because what you say in your offer selects or deselects people.
Right, exactly.
Right. So subconsciously, you must know who you are talking to and what pain you are alleviating for them. So you only talk to that.
Right.
And you talk to nobody else.
Right.
Exactly. Because if you start talking to more people, then the offer gets diluted or the offer is not the same. Like what I'm learning with Quantum Leap now, and you're probably learning with Well That Never Runs Dry, is like there are certain people who are best suited for their offer and they need a very specific kind of messaging.
Right.
They don't need.
Yeah. You know, the whole thing, the sell me this pen, right?
Yeah.
Where do people screw up when they sell the pen, right? What they say is they're like, oh, you can use it for this. You can use it to write, or you can use it as a paperweight, or they give all the uses for the pen. That's the completely wrong way to market it, right? It's to say, what's your biggest struggle right now? It's like, oh, productivity. Oh, you know what? This pen, you could use this to write down all your make a daily plan every day. And I'll show you, if you buy this pen, exactly how you can do a daily planning process and give you my templates for daily planning. And you can use this beautiful pen to write that. And they've shown that handwriting makes you remember things and recall them better. And, I'm just saying, like, to focus on the one problem in order to sell the thing, right? Instead of trying to say this thing is so versatile, it'll do everything. That's the worst way to sell something. And that's how most people try to sell the pen, right? And that's why they fail. You have to find the problem and show how this thing solves their entire, because you're not trying to sell them a pen, you're trying to solve their problem, right? That's the whole thing. And the whole thing is like, well, whatever my product is, I can adapt it to solve your problem, as opposed to my problem's adaptable to whatever, to do multiple uses that you can use this, right?
Yeah. And that comes to who are you selling the pen to, right? Who is that one person that you should be selling that pen to?
Right.
Who would be the right audience for selling that pen to, and making sure that person you're connecting all the dots for.
Right. Right.
Because I believe that because as soon as with your program, you can be very clear on that one messaging for Well That Never Runs Dry and take. I think here's my my take on why this didn't sell through this time. Or let me put it this way. This is how it will sell, which is if you just took the YouTube video that you had, but take out the parts about the sale that was happening right now, but basically the same YouTube video you had with the outline and the summary and all of those things, the offer details without the urgency of that timeline. And you say, if you're interested, book a call below.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's it. And literally the video and book a call below. And as soon as they click on book a call below, you take their name, email, and then you take them through a 5 or 7 step application system. Now you have the best candidates, and you could literally be selling at $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 over the phone.
Right. And well, I mean, there's one more piece to that, which is to qualify them first with not
in the application,
but go through the application. And if you're accepted, because then you don't even have to call the people that are not, are good.
Yeah. So the application is a requirement.
Yeah.
So you must do the video, book a call to application, which is in step 5 or 6 steps. And then and only then you get on the call with that person.
Yeah. And see, using your descension model, what you can do with that is you can even have an automated system like a Zap, where if they, like, let's say you have an income threshold or something like that, if they answer below it or for a certain range, then you just put them in an automated email sequence and downsell them the thing that's appropriate for them. That, you know what I'm saying? You tell them
Yeah,
you're not qualified for this program, but here you go. This is something that you could start with until you get to this point. And then you've automated that part of it. And you've also qualified them as well. And you're also be able to directly message to them because you're segmented your audience. So I think that's an ideal way to do it.
People love to feel that they're being selected into something.
Right.
And that they are special to be a part of something, than to feel like just by paying they get into it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
No, and it's legit too, right? Because you're legit looking at this to say, will they be a good candidate for this thing? I'm not just going to take anybody's money, which is the same thing I do with my coaching clients too, right? Because I turn down a lot of coaching clients, right? Because it's not just anyone who's going to pay me $1,500 a month, because I know that someone's not qualified for this. They don't have the money for it. They don't have objectives or goals. What's going to happen is they're going to pay me for the first coaching call, and we're going to get on the first coaching call, and it's going to be frustration because they're going to, like, the next invoice is going to come out. They're not going to pay it. They're going to, like, say that, you know, all these kind of things are going to waste my time and effort when I could be working with someone who's actually going to, you know, deliver results and be dependable. So I just cut them out from the beginning because I don't want to do, you know, one-offs. So
yeah,
I guess we better wrap this up here.
all right. Yeah, what's your thoughts? Oh yeah, you guys are traveling next weekend, right? No, the weekend after.
The weekend after, yeah.
Going to John's favorite place, which he did never said.
But
no, it's my favorite place in the world.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see what my thoughts are. Well, you know, I was thinking about this because I didn't say this, but I was writing a sales page because I need one for that self-confidence system. So, and it's also good practice for writing. I'm writing my own sales pages from now on, by the way. But as I was getting down to it, right, I was like, you know, one of the most important things, and that's what I learned from Gravy, like, is the risk reverse, like a truly good risk reversal, not just 100% money back guarantee, because that is such bullshit. So many people, that's default, that's standard, right? So like for this one, for the self-confidence program, I was really thinking about this hard, and Gravy did it like perfectly, right? It's like, yeah, there's no risk to me at all, right? I truly believe it in that case. But I was like, all right, what I'm going to do is it's all positioning. And so I'm like, all right, if you go through this program, like I'm guaranteeing, I think I made the guarantee. I called the guarantee in this thing. Where is it? I'm confident you'll be confident guarantee, right? And so this is kind of my copy. It's a draft, but I said, let me say this right now. This program will work for you. I'm 100% confident and absolutely know it will work for you so much that I will personally guarantee you success with my I'm confident about your confidence guarantee. It's better than your money back guarantee. If you go through this program and you implement the exercises in this program and you do not feel 100% more self-confident than you were before you start this program, I will not only give you all your money back, but I will personally work with you to help you build your confidence. As you already know, I charge $1,500 an hour for my time. That's how serious I am about this. The reason I'm able to make this strong of a guarantee is because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that if you actually do what I tell you in this program, you will greatly increase your self-confidence beyond what you could even imagine. You have absolutely nothing to lose. I want all the risk for this program to belong to me. So that to me is a strong guarantee, right? Like someone reading that, like, and that's what I was thinking about. I was like, okay, how can I make this so that, like, if I were signing up for this program, I'd be like, you know, because what do they want? They want the confidence. That's what they want. They don't want the money. They don't care about the, you know, they're willing to pay the money if they can get the result. So if I'm guaranteeing the result as opposed to the money, like this is like, again, with Gravy, they're guaranteeing a specific result. They're like, okay, you will make more money in this. I'm saying that you're going to feel confident, right? If you don't, then I will not only give you money back, but I'm going to coach you to make sure that happens. So you make sure you get the outcome that you desire. I think that is a way more powerful way to sell. And that I think that part of the offer is extremely important, and most people forget about that part of the offer.
Yeah, I agree. Good guarantee, as our boy says here.
Yeah.
Yes, this is freaking such a big book. I don't know why he did that.
I've read it through it like 4 times now. So
yeah, that's why I had to buy it paperback, and I'm back to buying books paperback. My thought for the day is kind of along the lines of what we were talking about today, which is we've been sold the wrong bill of goods, which is ascension model is the way to building a business. It's only the way to building a business if you have deep pockets, like venture capital, angel investors, things like that. If you don't care about cash flow, or if you have giant audiences.
Right.
But if you're starting from scratch, you don't have either of those, do not try the ascension model. It will break you. I have tried it. It's painful. It takes forever to do it, to make it work. Stop the ascension model madness, go to the descension model. It'll change your life, because now you truly have results and people will pay you for those results, and you will get a lot more value out of those. And you will make a lot more cash when you go descension rather than ascension. Which will allow you to find new customers and pump money back into the business. So stop ascension. Go descension.
All right, I like it. All right, we'll see you next week. We'll still got to find someone else to join us here. So if you guys are out there, if you're doing 6 figures or 7 figures in your business, send an email, one of us. So
Manny at 2000books.com. Yeah.
All right. Talk to you next week.